Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fett263 presents Fun with Saber Effects for Proffieboard. Thanks for joining tonight. I've got a couple things I was going to show, but if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I see I have a Senor Zapalo so far, so we'll give it a moment or two because it's pretty much 9 on the dot. And tonight I'll just let it run. As I have stuff to show. If we get done quickly, I'll cut out a little early. If we have stuff to go over, I'll stay on. Won't be too much past the 10 p.m. But kind of playing it by ear. I've got a few things to show, but not enough to fill an hour, even though I talk a lot. Hey Kim, hey Smooth Jazz family, thanks for joining. So I'm going to give kind of a minute or two, let everybody settle in, and then show a couple things, answer a couple questions, and we'll go from there. Let's see. So tonight, primarily what I was going to show is the new color editing. So I showed a little bit last week. I did a demo video 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Time is flying. But I've got a large chunk done. There's still more to do. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining. So I wanted to kind of show it just to kind of give everybody a little bit of a sneak peek, particularly anybody joining the live show. So when it's totally done is when I'll do a full demo, and that'll be on the channel and everything. But in terms of styles and stuff, I wanted to, if there's any questions that come up, but I didn't have as much with styles. I haven't had as much time. I do have stuff that I hope to work on, but hasn't had the time yet. Hey, Nick, thanks for joining. So kind of just to make this make some sense, I'm going to do a little, let's get in here. Let's see. So, hey, Darth Minicus, thanks for joining. I wanted to start with kind of the concept of color change versus color editing, because I've gotten some questions. Obviously, color editing is still in development, so it's not done yet, and you guys haven't seen everything, so some of the questions are hard to answer. Hopefully what I can show in a little bit will answer a few of the questions. I kind of, when I sneak peek stuff or when I do proof of concept just means that I got something working. Obviously a lot of help from Frederick in all these instances and bouncing stuff off of him. But once I actually get something where I had an idea and now it works, that's when I put a proof of concept up just to show that it works, but it doesn't mean it's anywhere near the finished product. So the color editing, that was the video that was put out a week or two ago, that was just the start point, and just to kind of show, hey, I got this working, but it wasn't finished. Last week's live show at the very tail end, I did show a little bit more. That was more tweaks that I had done, but since last week I've had time and a lot of help again from Frederick, and I've got more done, so I wanted to show that, but also kind of discuss how it's going to be a little bit different than what we're used to with color change. So color change on Proffi and the current OS comes basically in two flavors. Now, most people are just used to the color wheel, which is the more common use now, but it actually started in a fork with SA22C and I 2 years ago now. Man, time is going. But that was taken into 3.9 with the two versions that you are typically dealing with. So the first one of those is actual color change. So color change as a style. And I threw this together just to kind of show. Now, color change as a style, one of the nice things about it that actually it implemented was the ability to have a transition on your color change. So this is if you say you want to make your blade styles with a few specific colors, and you don't want to deal with rotating through all the colors. So the color wheel essentially covers all the possible colors that your blade can make with the LEDs in the color spectrum. Color editing obviously adds to that, which we'll show in a bit. But if you have a specific list, so say you have, when the original fork, we did 13 colors. We did the red, the green, the blue, orange, yellow, etc. Kind of covered just the main color scheme. So if you want to build something like that, it's really easy. You see, I already have it on screen. It's this color change style. It can hold up to 12 colors technically. This is one way to get white introduced in the current OS. So I get that question a lot about somebody who wants an actual white blade. You can actually introduce it with color change. And with color change, you can have as a style that transition. I just put a quick fade, but what that means is when I change my colors, I get a fade into the color. So it's going to the next one in the list, and then I'll go to the next one in the list. And I have this bump here for a reason. Go go to yellow, obviously, then that yellow disappears because it was a yellow bump. And I can get my magenta, and then I get my white. So one of the ways, if you really want to get white into your current styles and you wanted to build a color change, or you wanted to build the ability to change colors, would just to be build it straight in using this. But obviously there's some limits. So one of the limits to both the color change and the color wheel is that it's doing it to everything. So what we'll show here is this is the color wheel version. Now the color wheel itself is actually default in. So if you build a style, just a regular style with no color change and no rotate colors X into Proffi, Proffi will actually add its own color wheel for you so that it changes everything. Now the color wheel in all instances will not change white or black, but any other color, it rotates it. So in this case, what we've got is I've purposely put this on 2 colors. The variation, which is what controls your color wheel, all it's doing is shifting the color. But the way it works is it shifts everything. So if we do, a bit of a change, you'll see that it's changing both. And again, this is purposely done for this style. In the library, I typically build, and this is where Rotate Colors X was introduced for OS4, is the ability to say, hey, change these styles, or change these colors, but not these, because particularly like blasts, lockups, clashes, stabs, lightning block, those ones, you don't want those shifting colors, but you do want the main blade. So essentially the color change, the rotate colors, that gives you one option to rotate through all the different colors. I'm missing that chat. I'm sorry, everybody who's writing in. Let's see who else joined. Oh, hey, chat. Thanks for joining. Triple X and Juice Unreleased. Thanks for joining. So Darth Minicus, yes. I don't know if you've been on the show before, but certainly we can. You can with with Proffi and with this editor, we can do anything. So in the library, I do have split blades already, which would be a good start point. So if you're in my style library, we'll go down here. We'll go to build a split blade, and this just gives me a quick chance to just walk through. Where'd you go? Build a split blade. So if you want 2 tones, I mean, you can build more than. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but just a real quick, easy one. So I'm going to just grab, let's do a fast fire in green. We'll keep it unstable. Let's go to unstable blue. I'm going to have it actually just we'll do none for now. We'll do a blend. And then we'll grab, I'm not going to add anything else to it. I'm just going to get this style. We'll do a new editor. Drop it in. So we could do something like this. So we've got a blade that's running 2 different colors, 2 different effects. But there's a lot of different ways you can do stuff like this. You can do gradients. So if you wanted to, we'll do it real quick in here. So you could just build out. Actually, I'll just cheat because the concept is the concept. Where's your hide? Gradient. So you could do something like that where you just have choose your own colors. So there's a lot of different ways to have different things. Oh, you had said red and blue. I knew you said colors. I chose green and blue, but yes, you can. Oops, I have to resubmit this because too much going on with that style. But you can pick and choose. That build a split blade is probably the easiest way if you wanted it to be a half and half, because it just does a lot of it for you. But you can also build custom ones. And the split blade lets you pick different effects. So this one's got that fire, the fast fire, and then it's got an unstable. But you can combine all of that. But with Proffi, you're not limited. You can add as many colors as you want. As you see with the gradient, I can have all these colors. You can also mix, again, this is more just the emulator slowing down. But you can mix more in. You could put an additional break in there. I've got a bunch of different options in the library already. Hey, Maison Nguyen, I think I said that right. If not, I apologize. But so let me circle back. But hopefully that helped there. So at any rate, what ends up happening with color change and the color wheel, which is Rotate Colors X, is you're pretty much limited to rotating one color. So one of the things that I've been doing a lot with Frederick on is expanding on that, and that's where color editing is going to come in. Yeah, you can rough translation. I'm guessing you meant on the previous one. Absolutely. This is controlled. This is a mix, so it's controlled by this shape, which is a smooth step. So if I wanted to shrink the green, I'm going to slide this one down. Or no, wait, that went the wrong way. I want to swing it up. I'm thinking of the other guy. No, it was right. I get the smooth step's inverted because it's meant for the tip, so I always get those two flipped on each other. There you go. So all you would do is just change the shape that's controlling the mix between those two. Now, if it's an alpha layer, it's the same thing. It'll either be a bump or a smooth step, and you just adjust the position and or width. So the width in a smooth step is just how long the fade is, whereas the position is where that actual fade will start. But yeah, technically, if you're not familiar with editing in Proffieboard, if you can think of it, you can probably design it, and the editor helps with that. So there's no limits to what you want to design. But let me get back here. So what I was saying is, so what I've been, and again, a ton of help from Frederick, and actually Frederick made a lot of this all possible. Actually, pieces of it were kind of in place, but for different reasons. But at any rate, color editing is going to let you control the colors individually. So it's going to be a big shift, both in how we build styles, but also how we use Proffieboard, because instead of having to deal with the color wheel, which is great, it actually adds in the white and the black capabilities to get to white blades, dim your blade. But now it's also going to let you actually change the color of different segments of your blade, or different parts of your blade and styles individually. So that's what I'm going to show real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So I'm going to shift screens for a sec. Just need something to fill while I do that. Let me put this here. Give me a sec to activate the other camera. All right, and then now hopefully you guys will still hear me when I switch cameras and get this turned on. So if you can't hear me, I'll try to explain. And I won't be able to see the chat while I'm doing this, so oops. Let's get you turned on. Good. All right, that should be ready. Let's put this in play. All right, so hopefully you all are with me. Let me peek at the chat. I think no new chats. All right, so this is going to be part of edit mode. Again, I've shown bits and pieces of this, but I've got another large chunk done. Now, this, again, isn't completely finished. It's still in progress, but I wanted to show it. So we're going to go into edit mode. Edit mode. Now, I've made styles on purpose just for testing. So it has an emitter effect, which is just a flickering. In this case, it's yellow. So let me... It's going to talk over me. Let me move this closer to the camera for a sec just to let you hear the menu. And again, thanks to Brian Connor for the sounds you're hearing. And they will be part of the edit mode package. But so I'm in edit mode. So I've got edit style. Edit style. I'm going to go to edit color. Edit color. So this is edit color. So I select it. Select color. All right. So now select color is going to let you pick which color you want to edit. So we're going to run through now. The nice thing about it is this menu system knows what colors in this style are actually editable. So it's going to only list the colors that I can actually edit. Base color. So base color. Alt color. Alt color, which is a secondary color. Blast color. The blast color. Clash color. The clash color. Lockup color. The lockup color. Drag color. The drag color. Lightning block color. The lightning block color. Stab color. Stab. Ignition color. Ignition color, which is the power-up effect. So that's the power-up effect you saw. Retraction color. Retraction color. Emitter color. And then that emitter color. And then it's going to go back around. Base color. So base color. So we'll start with the base color. Edit color. So now what it's going to do is it's going to just focus that base color. So it got rid of the emitter effect because I want to focus on this color. Now I'm in regular edit color mode, so I can do my color rotations. And again, I'm still tweaking out the controls, but this will have a dynamic control where very quick moves will do big changes. and very slow moves are those subtle ones, and it lets you really dial in. But now, and I showed this last week, what I've done is I've added in so that you can toggle to white or black. So all you're going to do, I'm in color mode. If I point my blade up and bring it back down, it's going to say white balance, a white level, and it's going to let me edit white. So I'm going to put it to the camera first. So white level. So now I'm in the white level, and now I can turn up my white and actually get all the way to white. And that's pretty much maximum setting means that's white, or I can bring it back down. Minimum setting. So I brought it back down. Oops, too far. And then if I want to go back to color, I'll tip it up again. Edit color. And I'm back in edit color. And I went too quickly there, so it's going to jump on me. Go a little slower. And now if I want to go to black, I'm going to tip it down. Black level. And that goes to black level, and that'll let me dim it. Minimum setting. Oops, I jumped again. So I got to go a little slower. That jump menu, I'm still tweaking it out. If you go too fast, it makes a big jump, and then you can bring it back up. Maximum setting. And then I'm going to go back. To go back into color, I'm just going to tip down again. Color. So I'm back to color. Let's just get back to a blue. I'm going to save it. Save. Select color. So now I can change another color. So let's pick. Color. And we'll skip off. Color. Let's go to blast color. Oops, so I'm fast. So we'll go blast. So now we're going to go to blast color. Edit color. So what blast color is going to do is the editable region is only here, and it's just a mimic. It's not the actual blast effect. It's just to show what the blast looks like against your base blade. Now this is in a white. So what I want to do is I want to get to a color. I'm going to tip up. White level. I'm going to bring that white level down. Minimum setting. Then edit color. Now I can edit my color. To blue. Let's go. Oops, I went past. We'll go there. Save. Select color. Now let's go. Flash color. Lock up color. Drag color. So let's do a drag color. Edit color. So now it's going to be the tip, and again it's in white. So with white, you can't change white. White is white. So if I rotate it, it's actually just white. So what you want to do is you want to drop that white level. White level. So I'm going to drop it. Minimum setting. And when you get to the minimum setting, basically that means that there's no more white. Edit color. And it's a pure color. Now I can edit my color. Let's see. Like that. Good. Oops, I went too far again. And also it stands up a little bit. So I'll save that. Save. Select color. And then let's get to lightning block color, stab color, ignition color, retraction color, emitter color. So we'll do the emitter color. Edit color. So now that's going to only affect here. So I can change this color. So I'll go, oops, I'm going too fast for this. I got to set that setting. It's a little too sensitive, I think. So this is why we're doing all the testing. Save. So now I've got my new emitter color. And it's basically all the colors. So, and it depends on the style. So you'll have the option to tell the blade, to tell the saber which style, which colors in your style are editable. And it'll change based on that. So let's go, actually we'll cancel, exit. So if we go to another style. Select preset. I think this is the one I want. So this should be the one I want. Edit mode. All right. Edit style. Edit color. Select color. All right, so this will have different colors in it because this style has some different options. Post-off color. So this has the post-off color. Retraction color. Retraction we had. Ignition color. We had. Pre-on color. Pre-on color. So this has a pre-on color. I can edit that. Stab color. Stab we had. Lightning block color. So each style is actually going to let you pick what's editable. You can't edit part of the style if it's not set up to be edited. Cancel. Exit. So I still have a lot more to do. So that's post off was real quick. But so a lot more to do, but I wanted to show this. So now with color editing, you're going to be able to set your styles up to edit all the colors of all the effects essentially. Now there is a limit, and that's built into the menu, but it'll be part of the rollout. But let me switch over so I can answer any questions there may be and also kind of talk a little bit more about this. Let's turn this off because I'm killing these batteries. All right, 1 second. Hopefully you guys could hear that because I forgot to check. Right, sorry, switching over. Good. Oops, that's not what I want. All right. Let me catch up here. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Mountain Sabers. Thanks for joining. Hey, Bobby, Maison. Chet's here. Carson, thanks for joining. So, yeah. So, yes, that's kind of where I'm going with all this. This is, again, still in development. Why is this not showing what I want to show? There we go. So, yes. So, let me catch up with you guys. So alt color it's actually kind of an open use. So in like a lot of styles, you have AB colors. If you wanted to do something like an AB, you would just set your style up so you'll have your base, and alt would be the B. But you can also apply alt colors in different places. So if you had a split blade and you wanted to edit the top and the bottom separately, you would set the top color up as one, either base or alt, and then the other way, etc. So alt color is kind of it's kind of just meant to be a catch-all for use, whereas the specific effects. So technically, what's going to be coming, and again, still in development, but I've actually got it built out to handle 15 color edits. So what it'll do is you'll have your base color, your alt, your blast, your clash, your lockup, drag, lightning block, stab, preon, ignition, which is the power up effect. Typically that's in white, but it's going to be editable. Retraction color, which is the cooldown effect. Post off, swing. So if you have a swing speed effect where the swing is either white or a color, you can edit that. Emitter effect, like you saw, and then the off. And the off is really for crystal chambers or if you have accent lights, but you'll actually be able to edit them separately. Again, none of this would have been possible without Frederick, so I can't take all the credit, but I had this idea, and he and I have been going back and forth about a lot of things. He brought up how we could get the white and the black in there. I actually split the menu. Originally, it was going to be all one, but the reason for the split between black and white, I kind of mentioned last week, is that to get color. So again, if you try to rotate white or black, it always stays white or black. You have to have a color in there to rotate through. So for effects that are typically white, like your blast and your lockup, if you wanted to change them to color, what you're going to do is you're going to go into the white editing. You're going to drop the white level until you get to a base color, and you can go in between. So I drop it all the way down. So technically, if white level, it's technically brightness level. If a brightness level is at 50, that just means that it's neither black nor white. It's in the color range. If you tick it up to 70% white, it's going to be a whitish blade, but you'll change the hue. If you want to dim your blade, you'll be down in the black level. But so the up and down split was something that I wanted so that it's a little easier to control getting to specific colors. But it's pretty much, I've got the framework all built. It is all working. There's a few pieces to styles and stuff that are still in development, and then some more controls are actually still in the works. And as you saw, I'm still tweaking that dynamic control. In my head, I have it perfect. In practice, it gets a little finicky on me, so I'm still tweaking that out. But the idea is, particularly more for slow dialing, was getting that specific color. Sometimes if we just made it a 360 rotation to cover all colors, some of those colors to hit exact would get a little tricky because particularly if you're going to toggle between white and black. So that's where I'm adding the dynamic control so that if you go really, really slow, it actually does a minimal change. And if you go really fast, it's meant to jump. The jumping still needs some work. As you even saw in the demo, there was some times where I turned it like a half turn, but it actually did almost a 360 spin on me. So I got to tweak those. And then, but it's getting really close. So when it's done, I'll do a full demo, but essentially I didn't have a lot to cover tonight. I finally got this working really well, so I wanted to show you guys. But yeah, the concept, I saw the question in here. Carson put it in. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going after. So edit mode as a whole, the goal for edit mode is to make it so that you can set your Saber up with all the styles you want, and get it, configured how you want. But if you wanted to change a style, if you want to change a font, if you want to change a track, if you wanted to just change the colors, if you want to copy. So the reason for this color change specifically is related to the copy presets. So, and this is available technically now with the presets INI, where you can kind of make your own copy and have like one style appear with multiple fonts. This takes that kind of to the nth degree. But now what you're gonna be able to do is, so a lot of times, if in the past, if you wanted to have, say, you wanted to have a green audio flicker blade with a certain blast, lockup, and clash color, that would be one preset. And then you put your font on there, and that's your Luke font with your Luke color. And then if you wanted to do like an Obi-Wan, you do kind of the blue with maybe a white clash and a white lockup, put that font on there. And then that takes a second preset slot. And while if you use audio flicker and use similar effects with just different colors, it takes up a little less memory than completely unique, it's still taking space. The idea with edit mode is going to be if you have an audio flicker style you like. Now the effects are separate. So the effects are the effects. Those have to go onto the board. They have to be programmed to the board. But if you set up an audio flicker with the clash effect and the lockup and all that stuff exactly how you want it, and then you want to reuse it, that's where the copy presets is going to come in, which is where this is all kind of tying. Is you'll be able to make a copy of that preset. You'll be able to change the font. So, and the font, if you haven't seen the edit mode video when I rolled it out, again, proof of concept, is the idea with the font selection is you're going to just put the font on your SD card. Then in edit mode actually looks through your SD card for any valid font and will let you pick it. So you'll be able to change your fonts without having to go redo your config. So if you got a new font, as long as it's formatted correctly and as long as you put it on the SD card correctly, edit mode will find it. You'll be able to switch fonts. Same with tracks. You'll be able to pick your track. So say you have one track set up. Now, track player kind of thins out the need for tracks because you're setting only the base track, and then with track player now you can take and grab any track in that font anyway. But that's in there. But now the last piece of the puzzle of making this all kind of self-contained is this edit mode, or is the color editing. So it's a different approach. It's not the same as color change. You are actually editing those colors, and the mechanisms we'll deal with in the future. Explaining it now before it's ready is a little early, but the end result will be, yes, you will have the ability to change the colors of all your effects, the color of the base. You'll be able to pick which ones you want, edit them all individually, set them all up, and then go make a copy and then change them all. And you have, again, the effects to the effects. So if you have like responsive blast with the old style clash with a mid blade lockup, and you have a pre-on effect, a specific pre-on effect and a specific post-off effect, those effects, those are actually flashed to the board. Those we can't edit. They because what your styles and effects are is it's actually a group of code that makes that effect possible. That we can't edit, but we can swap them. So say you have the ability, so say you have like an audio flicker style, you have an unstable style, you have a fire style. Once you get those set up, you'll be able to copy as many times over as you want, change to as many fonts as you want, and change all of the colors individually to make completely unique colored styles. Now, again, effects are effects. They're going to have to go hard. They're going to be programmed to the board. We can't change that part of it. But yeah, that's the idea, is as much editing as is possible, all done on the Saber without having to update your config. Now, if you want to add new OSs, if you want to add new effects, new styles, you still will do that through your config. This is kind of like to allow you to do edits in between. But what we're working on is making it all editable. And the other thing, like for me, like particularly like, when if I set a Saber up for my son, unfortunately he loves all the new stuff all the time, so I'm probably still going to be flashing up those. But if he wants to change the colors on something or whatever, now he'll have the edit mode, go into it and make all his own edits without having to hook it up to a computer. For installers, I can see this being really valuable because you'll be able to technically set up your Saber or set up the Saber for your end user, get it all programmed out, get everything they obviously want loaded. But then when they get it, if they want to change the font, just put it on the SD card, turn the dial, pick it, lock it in. If they want to change the colors or tweak the colors, whatever, go in, edit them. If they want to swap styles at some point, swapping the styles, the tracks, all that's going to be through edit mode. So trying to take as much as is editable, move it into complete Saber controls using the new menu system. That's essentially what's being worked on. Let's see. Yeah, so the goal on this is obviously OS 6. This is still a long ways off. There's still a lot actually in development. But this is the next big piece that I've been working on this one for several weeks. Again, with Frederick. Without Frederick, none of this would have been possible. He's providing a lot of the functions. He's pointing me in the right direction. He's obviously helping me fix stuff that I break. But I've kind of had this idea, and I bounced it off of him, and he was totally open to it, and he's been helping me. So I had the idea of being able to do this stuff. I had a rough idea of how to do it, but without him, it never would have been possible. But yeah, a lot more to come on that, but I did want to show it. Let's see, any other questions? Cool. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, obviously, Brian, again, thank you for all the sounds. Without the menu sounds, that menu does nothing. So that's another integral part. And then, yeah, so the style that's what I was saying a little bit earlier. So the styles of everything. So the type of blast you have. So like in the library, when you're in here, when you pick, obviously pick your base style, but if you pick a pre-on effect, if you pick, the type of extension, if you pick, the type of power of effect, those actually become part of the OS itself, and that we can't edit. But you would just build more of them. So if you had, you'll still be there. There is obviously limitations because you're technically dealing with software. So what you can do is you can load up a bunch of styles. And then just toggle them through on any preset you want, and then again edit each color of each piece. And the caveat being the styles will be set up specifically to allow that to happen, and they're going to have to coordinate to the menu. So part of the reason we have the menu system actually knowing which effects are editable. If you want to do if you wanted to say only have certain effects editable, they're set up in the style, and the OS actually knows which pieces of the style are editable. It's like a variable in place that becomes edited by color editing. So if you have old styles that don't have those capabilities, you can't do any of it. So it will be combined with new styles. But the actual effects that make up your style, those are part of the OS. They don't get edited. Let's see. Multiple blade styles, cycle through different blade styles while keeping your current font. Yeah, that's that's in this blade is been set up specifically for this demo. Everything's still kind of bits and pieces on my channel. There's the whole edit mode. Where do we go? There's a whole video on it. It's force quote fonts played. Wow, it was a while ago, huh? I didn't think it was that long ago. Time is flying. Nope, it's not there. It's not there. Oh, it's in here. There it is. No, it's. Let me peek at something. I know I have it. Proof of concept. There it is. So anybody look at. Oh, let me move this real quick so you guys can see what I'm showing. Sorry. I have this proof of concept playlist that I've been kind of putting together. You don't need to watch the whole thing, but edit mode is in here. So this is the edit mode. I'm not going to make you guys watch commercials. But essentially, I guess I can't skip it. Great. Come on, let me skip. There we go. I have the edit mode demo. Captain Finesser, if you want to check it out. Yes, the edit, that was actually the first piece of edit mode that was built, is the ability to, when you're in edit mode, you can roll through all the styles on the blade or on the Saber and change them out on the fly. So that's already in place. So this is kind of the next piece of the puzzle. So the ability to edit styles, edit fonts, edit tracks, that was actually the first piece that's in this video, as well as copying presets or deleting presets. That was all the initial. Um, this edit color is another big piece, but it's actually like its own separate build because it's obviously a lot more complex. So you can check out this video. But yeah, the edit mode handles all the styles that are loaded onto the Saber. So if you have, say, like I think this, my Fallen Order Saber, I think I loaded 24 styles for the main blade, 24 for the accent little crystal guy at the bottom. So it's 48 total styles. Now they're individual, so you don't cross up. So if you have styles built for crystal chambers, they'll cycle through that. If you have styles built for main blade, it'll cycle through all them. Now, if you have one blade, particularly with the new plugin, you can do probably upwards of 40 styles that you'll be able to load up. Obviously, the styles is a big piece of that. So if you have a ton of super unique styles with a ton of animations, they take up a lot more memory, so the number will be a variable. But the idea is you load up all the styles you want on the Saber when you first flash it, and then you can go into edit mode and set which preset uses which style, uses which font, uses which track, and then eventually also all the colors. Again, within the list of what the menu is built for. So we do have to kind of put a cap at the top and the bottom. And for the prompts to work, there's going to be specific variables that have to go in specific places, but that'll all be part of the write-up. But the idea is you'll be able to actually build out your styles to be fully editable from the Saber, so all your colors will all be edited right on the Saber itself. And like I showed, what I worked on with Frederick was that ability where the blast, the clash, the lockup will create a bump in the middle that's editable. The drag and stab will create a bump at the tip that's editable. And then pre-on and post-off and emitter create a bump at the base that's editable. And then, so just to kind of, the idea behind that is to let you actually see what you're editing and how it'll look against your base color. Now, it may not have been as noticeable. The edit mode actually wipes the style away. Part of it is to let the color change work really cleanly. And part of it is because of how styles load on the Saber. So like if you have like a crazy fire blade, when you go to edit the color, we're actually going to get rid of the fire effect. It's just going to be the base color. You're going to deal with the color, save it, and then the fire gets reapplied. And Frederick suggested that approach, and it makes it a little bit easier to deal with everything, but works great. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the V3 is obviously going to be significantly more memory. That's still, I don't have any concept of when it's coming. That's probably still a little ways out. But with what Frederick's saying, yeah, you're probably talking double or more styles. I mean, the MPP, I didn't build this. This current loaded config is for testing. But I had at one point, I think I had 48 styles loaded on that, and they were all pretty different. And again, the new plugin saves some memory, and there's a few other tricks and styles that you can get additional space. And Brian's actually been working with Frederick on a few things like the multi-transitional effect versus transition effect. So there's ways to save a little bit of space. But yeah, V3 is going to have a ton more memory, and obviously a lot more styles. But this will work perfectly fine. All my test boards are 1.5, so it's going to work on all the boards. You don't have to wait for V3. You just have to wait for the OS to get done. Let's see. Yeah, yes. Fire and Sparkle. I think Sparkle beats out Fire for how much memory is used. I could be wrong, but I think that's what Frederick had said at one point in time. The Fire style does take up a lot of too. They're just really complex in how they do everything. Let's see. Let's see, what's the trick to keep a style? Not sure on the question. I'm changing it all. So if you use rotate colors X in a style that with variation, so if it doesn't have variation, it actually doesn't count. let me see if I'm do what you're talking about. So if you meant something like, let's do a mix. We'll put just do red and blue. So if you wanted to only change one part of the blade, you would just throw, let's see, so I'm having a brain fart, I'm looking at the other screen at the same time. So as soon as I throw rotate colors in variation, what's going to happen is the blue has no change now, so I can change out. So that's it. Oh, pommel, you meant the, yeah, so you would not apply, so, okay, so you mean two different blades, yeah. So that's the limitation of variation, is the variation is actually applied to the entire preset. So yeah, if you have rotate colors X on both styles, it's going to rotate both. Now, a lot of my styles are, particularly the crystal chamber type styles, they're mimicked to the main blade on purpose. Because ideally, if you made your blade green, you want your crystal to be green. You can separate that by just pulling the rotate colors X out of the style you don't want to change. Or you could drop a color change in, and that would do the same thing. So that's essentially it. But yeah, so Brian, what you would do is in the pommel style, just if you want to deactivate the easiest way to deactivate the color wheel and rotate colors X is just this. So what ends up happening is if you do just a color, not color wheel, color change. So just do something like that. And then what happens is, even though the variation is changing, the color change, it eliminates the color wheel. And it just, no matter what the rotation is, it only has one color to use. So it always just uses the same color. That's the simplest way to do it. But yeah, but with color editing, and obviously that's a single blade. In color editing, every blade is individually editable along with every style. So you'll actually, so say you had a crystal chamber, an accent, or like my pommel light, and you wanted to have the, if you want to have the colors completely different, edit mode will actually individually edit. It already edits the styles individually. So you pick the style for the main blade, pick the style for whatever other blades all individually. Color editing is actually all individual too. So you can, like, a big question lately has been staffs. It's going to handle the blades individually. So you'll be able to edit the colors on one, then edit the colors on the other, and have them be as different as you want. So it's that's all kind of what we're going after. Let me see. So white law, yeah, no, nope. So the V3 board, Frederick did announce it's going. It's obviously an upgrade. There's still a lot that he's working on for it. The biggest thing is obviously it's more onboard memory, and I think faster processor. So obviously it's the next generation, but the OS will run on the older board. So again, I have a couple of V2 boards. Most of my Sabers are actually 1.5. Actually, the main test Saber that I still use to this day, which is that Vader Saber, that's one of the 1.5s from Frederick's original run. So my Graphics and my MPP are original run. Actually, so is my crossguard. Those are all original run Proffi 1.5. So they are still kicking. They still run they're actually the first to load the new OS. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Now, there is some functionality in the future that Frederick's kind of hinted at that may not work on older boards, but that'll be parts of an OS. The OS itself will still support the older boards. And actually, Tom's not on tonight, but Tom runs a teensy Saber that's running OS 5.7 right now. So the board itself, you're fine. The V2 board, you're in the middle of the pack. You'll be fine. when the V3 comes out, everybody will be obviously wanting it, but it doesn't make the with Profi OS, it doesn't make anything obsolete. It's not like when the new OS comes out, you have to go rip the board out of your Saber and then put a new board in. All you got to do is flash the new OS and you're good to go. Again, there's a couple of things he's mentioned, like MP3 playback. I guess he knows better. Sound is still foreign to me, but the processing required for that is too much for the chip on the V2 board. So the V3 board would make that possible. Smooth jazz. I don't think so, but that's the hardware side I would leave to Frederick, but I don't believe so. So the memory we're talking about is actually the processor itself. What ends up happening is you create that OS, it goes on the processor, which is what you're flashing through Arduino to run everything. That's, I believe, fixed. Now the V3 board I think is going to have more, but I think that's still going to be fixed. Also, probably, yeah, I'm not sure though, actually. I would have to say I just don't know the answer to that, so I'm not going to try to guess. Frederick would be the better one. Yeah, so color change anywhere, and it doesn't have to be on the base, Brian. If you have, so the way the color wheel works, which is what you're trying to do with the color change, which is on the screen here, is you're trying to just tell the OS not to use the color wheel, because the default color wheel tries to step in anytime. So you could put this on any effect you wanted, and it does the same thing. What the OS is doing is it's scanning the style string and seeing if it's there. If it's there, it just calls it handled, and it doesn't do the color wheel. So base is the easiest, but if you put it anywhere in the style, it would do the same thing. Cool. Yeah, no. I believe this is referring to your previous question about the V2. Yeah, no, you're good for a while. So that's the great thing with Profi is it's supported throughout the boards. Let's see, any other questions? I didn't get to do a lot of styles with you guys tonight. I do have some style ideas that I am working on. I don't know if, so I've been pretty much every moment I've had free has been working on color editing. So I just haven't had as much time, which is obvious. I do have these ideas that I'm hoping once I get this all sorted out, I do have some style ideas, so I can't promise for next week, but I've got a couple of things I'm working on to hopefully show you guys. Some new stuff for the library. There's actually a new effect that I actually have all planned out. I just haven't been able to test it yet because everything else. So when I'm doing these OS changes, I have kind of like my own OS I play with to do the editing. It's like a pre-alpha, so I don't usually build styles in it that I'm going to put on the library because other things are working going on. But eventually I'll get those added to the library. So there is some stuff, new styles, new effects. Hopefully talk about them in the next couple of weeks. But right now, primary focus is getting edit mode moving along. There's still a lot of other stuff actually in play. Let's see. So yeah, it's unless there's any questions, I may cut a little early. I've just been, as I said, doing so much lately. It's on the edit mode and color editing and playing with that. I'll probably take a little bit of a break, spend some time with the family. But if there's a question in the next minute or two, I will definitely answer it. Otherwise, we'll be probably wrapping up a little early tonight. But hopefully, just the idea of color editing was what I wanted to share with everybody, kind of give you guys, everybody who joins me live, a sneak peek, obviously, when it's really done. And then I'll do the demo video and I post it, the TRA forum, obviously my channel, and then all the major Facebook groups. Let's see. I'm not familiar with that terminology. Yeah, I don't know FPV. I'm not in, I guess that's probably a hobby term. I'm not particularly familiar. But yeah, I'm guessing you're referring to the Proffieboard itself. So yeah, Frederick designed Proffieboard, and obviously he's doing the V3 design now. So yeah, Kim, I wanted to give you guys a little something. I feel like this one, usually I get stuff together quickly. This, I mean, it's gonna, quadcopters, okay. Oh, so the drones, that's what you mean, Milo. I got you, okay. Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to play with those all that much. Kind of my hobby has been sabers for a while, and that obviously takes every penny away from me, and then some. Um, cool. Okay. Yeah, I have seen them. I have not used them. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a hobby I don't want to actually get into. I feel like I'm already broke. But yeah. So thanks everyone. If there are any questions, styles, effects, like Brian last week, we talked about the blade angle stuff. If you guys do have questions, you can post them in the comments here. You can always post them on my channel. Sometimes just getting questions from you guys helps me kind of think about what to do for these shows. Some weeks I have a ton to show you guys. This week I had a lot to show, but it's all demo, so I don't have anything on the screen. So I try to make it at least worth you guys joining me. But if you do have questions, styles, all that kind of stuff, I don't mind covering stuff if there's something specific. So yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff with those drones. Like I said, I'm already pretty broke. I don't want to go go add another hobby. Sabers already are taking way more than I probably should have spent on them. But it's you got to have something you enjoy and love. Yeah, well, if you're into drones, Whitelaw, and you just stepped into the Saber world and you're just getting your first Proffieboard, man, that wallet's going to be empty. It's great, it's enjoyable, but yeah, it's all the hobbies nowadays. Find something you enjoy, and that's what you use your money on, and get something out of it. But I think if I had to juggle, I mean, I do obviously the 501st, and I do all my costuming, and but those I've kind of had fixed for a while, so I kind of shifted from the costume realm into Saber realm. But I don't think I need a third expenditure. But well, I guess it seems like I'll cut it a little short tonight. But thanks everybody again for joining. A lot more to come on color editing. I will get all that stuff tuned out. There's a couple other pieces I still didn't get to finish building out, but once it's done, I'll put the full video up. But just kind of the takeaway is what color editing is going to let you do is edit all those colors individually, really let you customize, and it's all going to be on the Saber. So that was kind of what I was hoping to show you guys tonight. So thanks everyone. We should be good next week. If anything changes, I always just kind of try to give you a heads up. But hopefully I see everybody next week, and have a good one. Thanks.